Hello everyone. Again, I'm standing next to Rotterdam, the national flower of Chinland, Chin State. My beloved Myanmar community and Chin community in London, United Kingdom. Mingalaba to all of you. Thank you for inviting me today in this very special occasion of the 75th anniversary of Chin National Day, a day which has everything to do with the 76th anniversary of the signing of Myanmar's independence, known as Palau Agreement, the independence from Britain. Before British rule in Myanmar, for centuries the Chin people enjoyed self-administration, self-determination, and political autonomy. We have our own kings, our own royal family, were never ruled by an outside power. 75 years ago, if the independent agreement based on the federal democratic principles and values had been implemented, Chinland could have become a flourishing kingdom in Myanmar, just as in the UK flourished. It could have been as vibrant and prosperous as Hong Kong or Singapore are today. But 75 years of failure to implement the federal democratic principles have left the Chin kingdom broken and weak. Dear friends, the victims of 3/4 of a century of military oppressions, and now officially Chin state become the poorer state in Myanmar, where conditions are gradually worsening to those of North Korea. Sadly, we are marking today 75 years of oppression, 75 years of attack on our federal democracy and our values and principles by the most brutal, repressive dictatorship. Due to 75 years of oppression by a horrific dictatorship, the Chin people have not only lost self-determination, self-administration and political autonomy, but have also suffered genocidal attack from successive brutal dictatorships. Despite this genocidal attack, the brave people of Myanmar have never given up on freedom and democracy. Their commitment to federal democracies are strong and unshakable. We are fighting for our freedom and democracy here in Asia as the brave people of Ukraine, our brothers and sisters in spirit, are fighting there in Europe. The victory belongs to the brave people of Myanmar. The victory belongs to the brave people of Ukraine. In the last 24 months alone, the genocidal military junta have carried out more than 9,000 attacks on the people of Burma, have killed more than 3,000 unarmed civilians, and arrested more than 20,000 people, including duly elected members of parliament, elected officials, Mr. President U Win Mint, and State Councillor Do Aung San Suu Kyi, and have wishfully destroyed more than 50,000 churches, schools, homes, and monasteries. These horrific atrocities have forced more than 1.6 million to homelessness, and they are now living as refugees and IDPs. Furthermore, as a result of the military cruelty, brutality, more than 17 million people of Myanmar across the nations are greatly in need of humanitarian assistance, compared to less than 1 million in 2020. One in 3 people are now in acute need of humanitarian aid, and half populations of Myanmar are forced to live in extreme poverty. The brutal military junta are using disease as weapon, starvation as weapon, hunger as weapons. We, the National Unity Government of Myanmar, are grateful to the British Parliament and the Government of the UK for their constructive engagement and solidarity. The brave people of Myanmar are thankful to the people and the leaders of the UK for your generous response to humanitarian crisis by providing more than 45 million sterling pounds in aid to Myanmar in 2022-2023. Myanmar is thankful to the UK for leading a strong, coordinated international response to the brutal military coup in Burma through the UK's G7 presidency. Myanmar is grateful to the UK for all the effort you have made to secure the first ever UN Security Council resolution on the situation in Myanmar. Myanmar is grateful to the UK for building a global coalition of countries who are committed to preventing the flow of arms to the brutal, murderous military in Myanmar. Myanmar is grateful to the UK for securing commitments of the UN General Assembly and the UN Human Rights Council and the coordinated and joint statements of 47 countries specifically regarding arms flows, arms sales to the genocidal military generals in Burma. Myanmar is grateful to the UK for imposing sanctions against the illegitimate military ruling body and the brutal military high commands and key revenue streams for the military, including state-owned enterprises and military-owned companies and conglomerates and key defense sectors, entities responsible for providing weapons to the genocidal military in Burma. But sadly, this is not enough. The genocidal military junta network is large and they will continue to find ways to skip sanctions and restrictions. There are many powerful allies who continue to engage with them and arm the military in order to expand their own spheres of influence and to bring about a new reign of dictatorial oppression and the cheap labor and resource that offers them. The fate of over 54 million people of Myanmar hangs in the balance. If we lost this fight, Myanmar's people will become slaves in their own towns and villages and their own homes, forced to work to death to the lined pockets of the cronies and generals in Burma, as the nation burns around them. The UK must act to help save the people of Myanmar and keep both the dreams of the implementation of the independence agreement from Britain and the hope of federal democracy alive. To many in my country, our community, the UK represents a hope for peace. UK represents a hope for freedom and democracy, and a chance to seek a better life and provide a better life for our children and our children's children. Sadly, our people have been beset for 3/4 of a century by a violent military dictatorship hell-bent on eradicating our peoples, eradicating our culture, eradicating our society, languages, and our faith, and our way of life. We are eternally grateful to those who have helped us in our time of need, and who have sheltered, harbored our refugees, and supported the victims of the military brutality. But in truth, we do not want to be refugees. We do not want to have to find a better life and opportunity away from our homeland. Our dream is to build a stable and prosperous new Myanmar in which we can live and thrive, where we can know peace and prosperity, where we can finally live and breathe without fear of violence, arbitrary attacks, shelling, erosion, rape, hunger, and starvation. The military's barbarism knows no bounds, and the more ground they lost in this war, the more savage they become. It is for this reason that we must again turn to the UK and ask her to lend a helping hand to us in the cause for justice, freedom, democracy, and humanity. The UK is one of the world's leading powers. UK is one of the West's leading power, a strategic alliance of the EU, the US, and a vital international leader, a leading member of G7, and a prominent member and a penholder of the UN Security Council. These strategic positions in international leadership and the historical connection between the UK and Burma place the UK in the uniquely privileged position to engage with the Myanmar crisis. This war is not merely a war for the people of Myanmar or for the future of Myanmar. It is a test case for the principles of democracy and freedom against the continuations of corruption and military repression in all Southeast Asia. There are many actors in Southeast Asia working to undermine the revolution of Myanmar for fear of what a functioning popular democracy will mean for dictatorships in the whole region of Southeast Asia. They are desperate to crush the people's democratic movement as a warning to all other subjugated and oppressed people, hoping to throw off the yoke of their own dictatorships. The eyes of the regions and indeed the entire world are on this conflict, and the outcome will have long-reaching ramifications of freedom and democracy over the world. The UK must engage quickly and decisively with the cause of the people, the cause of freedom and democracy. Dictatorship is a cancer, and the UK stands as one of few great nations, bastions of democracy and freedom, holding back the spread of this cancer disease of dictatorship. We ask the UK to pressure the UN and her strategic partners and the international community generally to intervene in the Myanmar crisis, to see the ASEAN 5 points implemented on the ground in Burma, to see the 10 points of UK-led UN Security Council resolution on the situation in Burma implemented on the ground in Burma, and to act to protect civilians' lives. We also ask the UK to apply the principle of universal jurisdiction as enshrined in the Geneva Conventions, and to take seriously the crime against humanity and war crimes committed by the military generals in Burma, and to actively pursue the guilty parties and attempt to secure justice for their victims through international mechanisms such as the International Court of Justice (ICJ) and International Criminal Court (ICC). And most importantly, we ask the UK formally recognize the NUG, the NUCC, CRPH as lawful and legitimate representative of the people of Myanmar and of Myanmar nation in connection with declaring the military junta SAC to be unjust, illegitimate, illegal, unlawful, and refusing to engage them officially. Many Britons are deeply concerned about the deteriorating situations of humanitarian in Myanmar and have contributed heavily over the decades to helping to improve the Myanmar's development and human rights and democracy. The UK has a long and vouted history of foreign aid and advocacy in the cause of human development, freedom, democracy, and political liberation. We all hope and wish and pray vividly that one day Myanmar knows the same peace and prosperity that the UK knows. This is a desire deep within many Britons, and we ask the UK to help make this dream a reality in Myanmar. May God bless Myanmar. May God bless the United Kingdom. Myanmar Spring Revolution will prevail once again. Thank you very much.